Subscribe. Well done.
Hi friends and families, welcome back to another episode of Fyjo Molly's quarantine road trip. This time we are setting off to South Africa's biggest neighbor, Namibia. The name of the country is derived from the Namib Desert, the oldest desert in the world. The name Namib itself is of Nama origin, and it means vast place. Indeed, Namibia is a vast country with little population. Hot, dry place with epic wild natures. Being the driest country in sub-Sahara Africa, Namibia has been inhabited by the San, Damara, and Nama people, which are among the earliest human settlement groups on Earth. Now, here's one of the indigenous language Khoisan sounds like. Namibia is a wonderful and unique country to travel to. It will offer you a lifetime experience. However, for individual travelers, it is a massive piece of wild nature, full of adventures, and it requires a lot of research before you hit the road. Now, in my video, I would love to present you some of my travel and survival tips in the beautiful Namibia. I hope I can help you avoid some of the mistakes we came across so you can enjoy your journey trouble-free. Our trip started off from Johannesburg to Windhoek by Air Namibia. We chose the earliest flight of the day because upon arrival, we needed to drive to our accommodation in the Namib Desert, which is about 5 hours drive away from the international airport in Windhoek. However, at the flight check-in counter in Johannesburg, we were informed that our flight had been postponed to 6 hours later, and since the flight was not being cancelled, we were not able to get any compensation nor being rebooked to another airline's flight. Yeah, so the flight is supposed to take off at 6:40, now delayed and changed to 12:30. About 6 hours. The flight is delayed for 6 hours. We tried to find a solution from the ticket office. However, the whole airline system seemed very chaotic and no one was around to help. So, for future reference, I would suggest you to travel with an alternative airline to secure your travel schedules, or buy insurance for your ticket if you book with Air Namibia. Okay, we finally started boarding after countless cups of coffees. Although we had a pretty rough start of the day, I was still very excited for the adventures ahead. Yay, go Namibia! After 2 hours and 15 minutes, we landed safely in Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia. If you are individual travelers, the best way to travel around the country is to hire a car, and you can pick up your car conveniently from the airport's main hall directly. But be aware that the pickup procedure can be quite time-consuming, and it is important to leave an extra hour as buffer time in your schedule. You will find that time as a commodity in service industry, it is not as valuable in Namibia as in many other places. You just have to be cool and patient about the slowness here. Give some tribute to the laid-back attitude. Now, here comes one of the most important tips for you. When you hire a car to drive around in Namibia, be specific about requesting a 4x4 SUV or Jeep, because sometimes in high seasons, when rental companies run out of resources, they will give you cars which have the same 4x4 exterior and claim to be a 4x4 vehicle, but is actually a 4x2. These two-wheel drives do not have the capacity to handle rough road conditions and will put you in trouble very quickly once you hit the gravel and sand roads, which is 98% of the roads in Namibia. And so here comes a possible outcome of driving an ambiguous car. I'm sure you don't want to be the extra horsepower under the Namib sun. Once you arrived in Windhoek, I also strongly suggest you to take a night off in the city and drive anywhere else in the next morning. We made the mistake and did not make an overnight stop in Windhoek. And as our flight was delayed very randomly, one thing after another, we ended up getting lost in the pitch dark wild desert, which was extremely dangerous. But I will explain details in the next episode. So stay tuned and subscribe. Windhoek is a small, quiet city with very empty, white, clean roads, clear blue sky, and very dry air. The sun has absolutely no UV filters. You may want to bring along the most greasy skin and hair moisturizers with you, plus minimum SPF 50 sunscreens, and all kinds of hats and long sleeves. I didn't bring along a hat, and my hair was fried and dried very quickly. Also, mind you, the day and night temperature can vary largely in the desert. So my first impression of Windhoek, not only as you can see behind me, it is a very modern place, but also I'm amazed by how clean and well organized the streets are. Even in the most busy and populated area, you don't see many people and traffic going around. But most importantly, this city is safe enough for daytime pedestrian tourists walking around freely, and that is a huge plus for us tourists in order to get to know the city easier and much personal way. I'm in the city center area, and behind me is the most well-known mascot of the city, which is this cute little old German church, and that also signifies the German cultural influence of this place. Unfortunately, like many other African countries, Namibia had also suffered greatly from multiple evil colonial regimes. Namibia was colonized by the Germans for over decades, from 1884 to 1915, during which period of time a massive genocide of the indigenous people was conducted, which wiped out almost the entire Herero and Nama population. After World War II, South African apartheid government took over the country until its final independence in 1990. Nowadays, when you walk on the high streets of Windhoek, you will be confronted with the German influence very quickly. You can see German shops, German road signs, German beer gardens, and churches, and even passers-by who speak German. People in the service industry sometimes also remind you a little bit of the Germans' coldness and dryness, on top of their African warmth and friendliness. But this distinct personality feature could also come from the harsh desert climate. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Generally speaking, you will find Windhoek is a very empty and peaceful capital. Time goes slowly here. Every day is just another sunny day. I personally think spending 1 or 2 days in Windhoek is well enough. Meanwhile, there are also some small neighborhoods which is more lively and commercial. They are wonderful places for tourists and locals to have a relaxed lunch or dinner break during the hot days. So now I'm at this place to have lunch. It is called Windhoek. This is one of the hip areas in Windhoek where the locals come for nice restaurants and coffees. This place is very artistically designed, and also it has a very tranquil natural surroundings. So it's a very good place to hang out with your friends in Windhoek. And it's so nice here, almost feels like a little European town in the beautiful Alps. Is that the South African rand and Namibian dollars are actually interchangeable. So if you travel from South Africa and you have South African rand in cash, it's perfectly fine to spend your rands here, and the exchange rate is exactly 1-to-1. Thank you for traveling to Windhoek with me today. I really miss the good old traveling days. Even the hustles can be so much fun to think about. Next episode, I'm going to take you to a great adventure into the ancient Namib Desert and tell you all about the ups and downs from the gigantic sandhills. Subscribe and stay tuned.